The European Union has meanwhile decided to delay another difficult decision, finalizing a free trade deal with South America's leading economies. Now, the deal with a group known as Mercosur, which includes Brazil and Argentina, has been a quarter century in the making. The European Commission has now pushed signing the deal back to January of next year. There's been fierce opposition from key states right here in Europe, especially European farmers. Many marched on Brussels to protest the deal yesterday, saying cheap food imports from Latin America threaten their livelihood. All right, for more, I'm joined now by Bernd Lange. He is serving as a member of the European Parliament from Germany as part of the Party of European Socialists. He's also chairman of the International Trade Committee. It's good to have you with us. I want to start with your reaction to the fact that the deal has been postponed.
It's really disappointing. So we did a lot to give the farmers a clear signal that we respect their doubts, and there's really reflection about products coming into the European Union from Latin America. So we adopted a safety net so that we have a clear system of controls, that we have a system to avoid circumventions, and that we have a clear threshold for volume over the normal import quotas so that we can reinstall tariffs. So I guess we have a clear vision on the protection of our agriculture sector, knowing that we have also some export possibilities for the agriculture sector. In the last year, we had a plus from more than 50 billion euro in the agriculture sector. So I guess the deal could be signed now without risk for the agriculture sector, and I'm really disappointed.
Let me ask you, we heard from one official from the German Christian Democrats, the Conservatives. They've said that without such trade deals, Germany will not be able to pour any more money into the European Union. I mean, do you agree? How big of a blow is the lack of unity on this issue for Germany?
No, I said that's an overreaction. But I guess this decision, or not taking the decision, gives a clear perspective how the European Union is now working. And we are really weak. In this geopolitical situation, we need really fair partnership to reliable partners. And the countries of Latin America are reliable partners, and we need to have a close link on that, but we are not able to act in a common way.
There has always been the criticism that the European farmer, the agricultural sector, that it dominates the European Union. It's one of the largest parts of the budget, for example. And we saw the protest yesterday in Brussels by these farmers from France and Belgium. If this deal does become a reality, will it signal, in your opinion, that the power of the agriculture sector here in Europe, that power has been somewhat diminished in the EU?
I think we have to look to the agricultural sector domestically. And there is a problem in the value chain. The milk producer is not getting the fair share of the benefit from the final products. The cheese producer and the dealer, the trader, they are getting more than 80% of the whole benefit. And this is not correct. So we need really to look into our domestic situation in the value chain, also regarding the future agriculture policy, how we can get really subsidies in a proper way for the agriculture sector. And then we are also competitive in the agriculture sector. And I guess a lot of the protests are really linked to these problems, not really to the import from the Mercosur countries.
Yeah, that's right. It's how much the grocery stores are willing to give the farmers at the end of the day. That's a big problem across Europe. Mr. Lange, with the Party of European Socialists, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Well, for more on this, we can speak now to Nicolas de Sadeleer. He is a professor at UCLouvain and an expert on EU law. First of all, the deal has been in the works for almost 3 decades, this arrangement that the EU has been trying to get together with Mercosur countries in Latin America. Why is this trade deal so problematic?
Well, it's safe to say that the negotiation started in 1995, and the mandate given by the Council of Ministers to the European Commission, the executive of the European Union, was about negotiating an association agreement. And an association agreement requires unanimity among the ministers for trade. And the European Commission, these last 4 or 5 years, decided to endorse a two-pronged approach to split the agreement into a genuine trade deal, part of the common commercial policy, and a more global deal that's reckoning upon different legal basis. And so the Council won't be able to decide unanimously. A qualified majority will be adopted. So it means that countries like Poland and France cannot use their veto to stop the deals, and that gave rise to controversies.
Help us understand who will benefit and how they will benefit from the Mercosur trade agreement, and which side might benefit more.
Well, that's a complexity of all the deals concluded with New Zealand, South Korea, Colombia, and Ecuador. There are benefits on both sides, and the trade liberalization for European manufactured and industrial products will indeed profit to the European manufacturing industries. On the other hand, given that Brazil and Argentina or Paraguay are more agricultural nations, the tariff liberalization is likely to benefit the export of the agricultural product to the internal market, to the detriment of the positions of the French or the Walloon or the German farmers.
So this decision on the agreement has been postponed until January. Do you still think that it will be signed then when we get to January? Because right now there's quite a bit of protest against it.
It seems to me that there is a main legal difficulties regarding the ways in which the European Commission has been handling this. So the Commission never had a mandate from the ministers to conclude two deals, to endorse the two-pronged approach. And so this is really giving rise to serious controversies. And I've been writing to a note to the European Parliament arguing that the European Parliament should request an opinion from the Court of Justice. If such an opinion is requested, that will delay the signature and the conclusions. So the European Commission is opposed to such a procedure. So anyway, any member state like France and Poland can still request the opinion from the Court of Justice to assess whether the European Commission's approach is consistent with the founding EU treaties.
Okay, sounds like that it's not a foregone conclusion that the deal will indeed be signed in January. Nicolas de Sadeleer.
Yeah, you're correct. It's just a signature. So the signature negotiations came to an end on the 6th of December 2024. So the first step is the signature, and then the signature must be followed by the conclusions of the two treaties, and that requires a majority within the European Parliament and a qualified majority among the 27 ministers.
Okay, sounds a few hurdles there still to cross. Professor, thank you very much. Nicolas de Sadeleer with UCLouvain, many thanks.
Julieta Zelicovich is an associate professor at the Department of International Relations at the National University of Rosario in Argentina. Tell me, Julieta, 25 years in the making and now postponed again. I'd like to get your reaction to the EU rowing back.
Well, it's the largest agreement Mercosur has ever negotiated, but it's really, really frustrating that the agreement never ends being signed and ratified. This is showing the complexity of the process of reaching such a large agreement with a partner that is really complex. The European Union is having hard times in reaching to consensus among its members, and this is having a negative impact in the interregional relationships. So it was very surprising that the agreement, it was expected to actually be signed this weekend.
Yeah, tomorrow.
And then once again, yes, they were, everyone was expecting that, but achieving that point was actually something really new in this long time history among the European Union and Mercosur.
Yeah.
This,
How big a blow? Sorry, let's talk about the real
for,
terms and the consequences this postponement now has for the Mercosur countries. How big a blow is this for them? What real repercussions will it have?
Well, this postponement happens in a moment where Mercosur is actually in crisis. It doesn't have a really relevant impact on the economies of the national members of Mercosur, but on the dynamics of the regional integration process. Some members of Mercosur, like Argentina or Uruguay, are discussing whether to split the international strategy of Mercosur and start reaching agreements by bilateral means and not as a bloc as Mercosur. And the European Union deciding once again to postpone a Mercosur-EU agreement that is supposed to promote regional cohesion in Mercosur is now something that is going to enlarge the criticisms to Mercosur as a weak mechanism. So this postponement is bad news for presidents such as Lula that wants to remain Mercosur alive.
It might be good news for third-party players, though, because there is an opening of sorts here. What are the chances of, the U.S. or China possibly seizing the moment and swooping in to expand their influence in the region?
Actually, what's happening is that the EU is losing influence in the regions. Mercosur is trading every year a little less with the European Union and more with China or the United States. So China and United States are already moving forward with Mercosur at different levels, but this postponement is European Union losing the opportunity to be relevant once again. The European Union is becoming an irrelevant partner for Mercosur.
Julieta Zelicovich, professor at the National University of Rosario. Thank you so much.